Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today we are going to be looking at a couple of different Victorinox knives. So the first one on the left here is mine. This is the modern day Pioneer. And the one on the right was actually loaned to the channel for a review. This belongs to Mr. Camphor Lynn. I want to say thank you, sir. I appreciate you letting me borrow your multi-tools. He's actually lent me several of his collection that I need to get back to him pretty quickly now. So on the right, we have the Soldier. Now, this particular one was a 1983 edition, and this is one of the only knives that I know of that Victorinox actually put the date stamp or the year stamp on the tang of the blade, and that's how we know it's a 1983 version. So let's look at some of the outside differences first. The modern day Pioneer, and not all the Pioneers, there were a couple of special editions that did not come with it, but you have the key ring on the Pioneer. Now on the Soldier, they didn't do that. They have a hollow rivet, but it never came with the bail. Now Wenger actually also produced pretty much the same knife, but in the civilian versions for the Wenger, which was called the Wenger Soldat, I believe, the civilian versions did come with a bail. Now that's another knife that he's loaned me that we're going to take a look at next, and in fact we'll probably show all three of those together. So another key difference is in the shield, obviously, the old shield versus the newer style shield. And then on the milling for the aluminum scales, you notice that the milling doesn't quite go all the way out to the edge. You can see that they kind of taper it off there, where in today's modern day Pioneer, it does go all the way out to the edge. So a little bit of a key difference there. Well, let's start opening these up. There's a couple of other little small differences that you really kind of have to have them side by side in order to tell. So I've opened up these two knives to show you that the tool set is pretty much identical, but there are a couple of small differences that we're going to take a look at. So let's close these up and we'll look at the knife blade first. And again, this is on the bottom is going to be the modern day Pioneer, and on the top is going to be the Victorinox Soldier. So on the tang of the blade, you'll notice that this one says Victorinox Switzerland stainless, and this one says Victorinox Swiss made stainless. So one little nuance difference there. And then again on the back, this one has the year stamp, 1983 for the Soldier, and the Pioneer does not. So apart from that, the blades are pretty much the same. They have the same blade shape, the same blade grind. Pretty much everything about them is going to be identical. So let's close these up, and then we'll get to the next tool. We're going to pull out the large screwdriver, the large flat screwdriver first. This is one that definitely has some differences to it. So in the Pioneer, they have the little notch for the wire stripping functionality, but in the Soldier, they do not have that. Also in the Soldier, you'll notice that it is actually built a little bit thicker. It may be hard to tell. It's just slightly thicker in profile. And one of the cool things that they did in the Soldier, which is not present in the modern day Pioneer, is they have a large wire stripper that is ground into the inside of this tool. So I'm actually going to try that out in a minute to see how well that actually worked. So this is actually a design from the old Soldier that I wish was in the civilian versions of these, even with the addition of the smaller stripper too, because I think that could come in incredibly handy. So let me close these two up now, and we'll take a look at the other side. Now, it took me a little bit to catch this, but there's actually a difference in these two as well. So also one other key difference is you have the field here for engraving in the modern day Pioneer. You didn't have that in the Soldier. Now, in the can opener, you'll notice that the grind profile is a little bit different. On the Soldier, it grinds back a bit deeper. It also has a little bit different shape, just ever so slightly. I might have misspoke earlier when I said the thickness was the same. Or no, I take that back. Actually, you know what? It's bothering me, so I'm going to check it out, because it certainly looks like that on the Soldier, both of these tools might be ever so slightly wider. So let's get the calipers out, and we're actually going to verify that. Okay, so I've got the calipers out now, and we're just going to do this in metric. So let's check out here on the back and see what we got. So we got let me reset it here. 2.10 millimeters for the tang on that one. And then if we check the other one, yeah, I thought so. It's pretty minor. It's 2.2 millimeters. So it's actually the tooling on the Soldier, on these two tools, both of these screwdrivers, is going to be just a little bit thicker than what it was on the civilian version. Now, I wouldn't have caught that except for putting the calipers on there. It certainly looked like it might be a little bit thicker to my eye, but until I put the calipers on, it was really difficult to tell. All right, so let's close these up. And the last tool that's on here is the awl. And this is actually one thing that I didn't see and hadn't noticed before, even in pictures of the older Soldiers. So you'll notice that the grind profile is slightly different on the Soldier than it is on the Pioneer. They made it a little bit sharper, where this one has a little bit of a curve back. And you can see where the grind just kind of gets to the point here, and then it just almost straightens out. This one went down to a much sharper point. That is one difference that I definitely would not have caught had I not had them side by side. So there's some interesting key differences between the Victorinox Soldier, and again, this is a 1983 model, against the Victorinox Pioneer. Well, let's get out a little bit of cable, and I want to try out that wire stripping function that is in that larger screwdriver and see how well that actually works. So I brought in an extension cord that doesn't have any end on it because I was testing it against this. My hope was this. One of my favorite knives from Victorinox is the Victorinox Electrician, and that's because it has this specialized curved blade that makes doing tasks like this, like cutting on cable or cable sheathing around this extension cord, a very easy task to accomplish. I was hoping that this would perform somewhat similar to what this blade does, but because of the thickness of this blade, it doesn't come down to quite as sharp a point, so it's a little bit tough. Now, I was able to cut through it in a couple of different places, but let me put it on here and we'll just give it a shot. So we have to put some pretty serious pressure on here, and we'll try going around. Actually, I've tried it in both directions to see if it made a difference, and you can see that it tries to score into it, but it really doesn't do that effective of a job of getting around the sheathing on this cable. So unfortunately, it was a nice concept. It just, the implementation of it is not the greatest, but I can see that working on something a little bit smaller. So the reason I like the Electrician is you set that electrician blade in there, and that kind of just curves around there. You can rotate that around once. Well, actually, maybe I didn't. Maybe it's this cable. It didn't go through quite the first time on this one either. So let me give that a little bit more. See if I can get around there and then break it free. There we go. And you can see that Electrician makes a lot cleaner job of getting around the insulation on that cable. So while it doesn't quite perform up to the standards of what we expect from an Electrician, of course you wouldn't expect it to, though, because obviously this blade is a lot thicker than what you're going to find on the Victorinox Electrician. So it was a nice concept. It just doesn't implement all that well. So this has been a look at the differences between the Victorinox Soldier and the Victorinox Pioneer X. Now, if I've missed any little differences that you guys are aware of, just put them in the comment section below. I'd love to see if there's anything that I actually missed on these. And one of the greatest things that I love about the Soldier is the fact that you get the year stamp in the tang. I think that is a great thing that they did. I wish they implemented that on more knives. So my name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.